Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the opening press conference for the 9th Annual Wespy Awards, presented by our title sponsor, Unifor Local 444. I'd like to welcome all of you tuning in here on WeTV.ca and, of course, all of you in attendance. I am John Napoli, the Media Relations Director for the Wespy Awards. This year's Wespys will take place on Tuesday, April the 15th at 6 p.m. at the Giovanni Caboto Club located on Tecumseh Road East here in Windsor. Please check out the Wespy website, www.thewespys.ca, for all your news, announcements, past winners, and for your early bird ticket sales, which start February the 28th and run till March the 28th. The Wespy Awards were founded in October 2005 and has recognized hundreds of local athletes for their accomplishments both on and off the playing field. Many athletes who have won Wespy Awards in the past have gone on to play professionally or compete in the Olympics. This great list includes Josh Bailey of the Windsor Spitfires, Taylor Hall and Ryan Ellis, who have all moved on to the NHL, Tyrone Crawford of the Dallas Cowboys, Mary Spencer, who competed in the 2012 Summer Olympics in London, and of course our very own Megan Augusta Marciano, who just represented Canada and won her third consecutive gold medal. In just 6 short weeks, the list of Wespy Award recipients will grow, and those honored that night will take their place alongside many great athletes of the past 8 years. Along with many great athletes that have been recognized over the years, the Wespys have welcomed so many great key speakers, from career hits leader Pete Rose to Olympic gold medalists Dorothy Hamill, Katrina LeMay-Doan, and Christian Leitner, to Canadian national hockey heroes Paul Henderson and Ken Dryden last year. And of course, my personal favorite, Lloyd Carr of the University of Michigan Wolverines. This year's keynote speaker, who will be announced shortly, will no doubt continue that great trend. An event like the Wespy Awards cannot be organized and maintained at such a high level without great leadership at the top. This individual is well known in the local sports community, is a respected member of that sports community, and someone I get to call a great friend. At this time, I'd like to call up the founder of the Wespy Awards, Mr. Dominic Papa.
You'll get your check later this week, John. First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody for coming this morning. It's a nice turnout, a lot of great friends here, and really appreciate the support that continues here for the Wespy Awards. My job simply here today is just to thank people for helping keep this alive. Also to thank some of the key individual groups that keep it alive financially, and also to announce some of our recipients for the upcoming 9th annual. I get that honor to do that today. So first I want to thank, of course, Unifor Local 444, Dino Kyoto, Dave Cassidy, Mike Laverick, and the gang there for their continued support of the Wespy Awards. It's second to none. They've been on board with us since day one, and the last 4 years have taken the lead role in this ceremony, and without their contributions, the Wespys just wouldn't be possible. So I want to thank that group. Also want to thank, of course, Stuart Fisher and Associates, Richard Poliani, Investors Group with Trevor LeDrew, Barron's Championship Rings with Peter Canis, for their continued support and their ideas in helping keep the Wespys fresh. I consult with those guys a lot, and they give me a lot of great advice, and you know, certainly they've helped the Wespy Awards grow over the years. Also want to give a shout out to St. Clair College. Jay Schufelt's here from the Saints, representing us. St. Clair has been a big supporter of the event, and again, their contribution is second to none. So a big thank you to them. Thanks for coming today, Jay. I see Jim Allen here from the North Star Cultural Community Center. They jumped on board with us a few years ago as well, and Jim's been a constant with us. They do a lot of things behind the scenes for us, and without, again, their contribution, I can't keep going forward with this. So Jim's a big part of this. Mike Morency's here from the Trophy Boys, also now the owner of the Windsor A.K.O. Fratman football team. So Mike might not be around the trophy shop too much anymore, but certainly he does a great job in getting out and supporting our event. They are the official maker of the trophies for the Wespy Awards. They originally designed the original Wespy, and he continues to be a great plug for us in our ceremony. So again, big thank you out to you, Mike. A friend of mine, Royal Church, our selection committee chairman, introduced me to a gentleman, I think about 2 or 3 years ago. And at that time, I knew of him because of his reputation, his negotiating skills, which are far better than mine. And he just took me in with open arms, and his guidance the last couple of years has been just a great education for me. And he's my safety plug. If I'm in trouble, I call him, and right away he'll say, "Dom, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it," and it gets taken care of. George King from McTagg Law Firm is here, and a big hand for George, please, because it's been unbelievable what he's done. To the WE TV crew that's here, this group is great. We've come a long way in a short time, led by that guy, Roger Faubert, Steve Bell, Matt Steves, John DiNapoli. Everybody's working hard to make this all a reality. So to them, a big heartfelt thank you. The other guy I haven't mentioned, I get emotional because it takes a lot for this to happen. And this guy's been in my corner from day one. He's sitting right here. I've known Dean since I was 8 years old, just a couple of years. And Dean's been just incredible with his support. I'm so proud of what he's done with Windsor Minor Hockey. He's made it grow in very tough times, but he's always here for the Wespys, always. He puts it out there for us. He publicizes it. Dave Pickford's here. Dave's a big supporter. He's our photographer for the event. And every year these guys come by and give me a big hug and thank me for the awards, when I should be thanking them. So to you guys, thank you, Dean and Dave. Now, to get on with some of the good stuff. Well, that stuff's good too, but the better stuff. As I mentioned, Local 444 is our title sponsor. They've just come in to join us, which is great to see. Good to see you, Mike. Good to see you, Gord. We'll get them up in just a minute. But I get the honor of announcing some of the winners for the upcoming ceremony, which is going to take place on April 15th. It's always a tough situation. Royal Church and his crew, and there's a couple of them here today. Royal's here. Chris Brecka, who's been with us from day one. Great job that she does every year for us. Jim Stonehouse is with us. He's on our organizing committee. It's an unbelievable team what we've assembled here. But I'll tell you, it gets tougher every year. Royal and his crew, Pauline's here. Sorry, Pauline, I didn't see you back there. They put a lot of hours in to put this thing together. And the voting is so tough now. The athletes, the level of athletics in our area, the teams, it makes a tough job. That's why I got away from the board. I said, "To hell with you, Royal, you take it." So, but it's tough every year, and they do a great job. They put in a lot of hours. They do a lot of research. They tap into a lot of people, including Mary from the Windsor Star. They tap into Steve at the CKLW. We've got great media people here to help them with that, and we're very fortunate. So the job gets done, but it does take 12 months a year now to put this thing together. We're already working on our 10th anniversary and ideas, so it's a round-the-year thing for us. It's grown to that, and it's all because of people that are here. Everybody that's here is part of it, and again, it doesn't happen without all of you being here. The award winners this year that we announced at this particular ceremony is the Legacy Award recipients and the Volunteers of the Year, the Nabi Newson's Volunteers of the Year. These are two very important awards for us. Again, a lot of thought goes into who these recipients are, and this year I think we've really hit the nail on the head really hard. We have four great individuals that have just made their mark in our sports community. I'll start with the Nabi Newson Volunteers of the Year. One of the individuals isn't here. She works for the Windsor Stars Soccer Club. She works tirelessly for that team throughout the year. She's worked concession stands, tickets. She organized a banquet this past year for the Stars, which was very successful. She does the sportswear for the Stars. She just does everything and anything that she's asked of, and then she goes beyond the call of duty. She's a great supporter of local soccer in our area, and the Windsor Stars, I'll tell you, wouldn't be around without her work. Deanna Turton is the Female Volunteer of the Year recipient. She's unfortunately away on vacation. Nerve of her taking a vacation right now. But she'll be at the Wespys that night, and she had called myself and Royal and expressed how excited she was about receiving the award. She was shocked, in fact, and she couldn't believe that she was getting recognized. And that's just her in a nutshell. A very giving individual. So congratulations to Deanna. The other person that gets this award, the male version of it, the Nabi Newson Volunteer of the Year, he is with us today. This guy, he's just such a great guy to have around the ballpark, and I've done things with this individual through organizing things with Bernie Suyer, what have you, but this individual's the same as Deanna. Whatever he can do for his baseball team, the Windsor Stars, he'll do it. If Ron Smith or Keith Sanford ask him to go through the wall, he'll get through the wall, trust me. If it's going to mean that the Windsor Stars are going to get the end result of it, then this guy will do it. And he puts in a lot of time, and it's these kind of individuals behind the scenes. This is why this award was created, to recognize the people behind the scenes that are not front and center, that are not getting the attention or the pats on the backs or the kudos. And but it's these kind of people that are the glue of a team. And this year's male Nabi Newson Volunteer of the Year is Mr. David Lesbrance, who's with us today. Congratulations to you, David. The next two awards that we're going to announce, of course, is our Legacy Awards. And it's funny, Royal was telling me that he got a call from our one Legacy recipient, and the first thing they said that they must be getting old because now they're getting awards. This one individual, though, I've become a good friend with her. She has unknowingly taught me an awful lot about the media business. While she probably doesn't realize how much she's contributed to where I've gone with my stuff, and just in reading her articles and how she goes about her business, her demeanor at the arenas, at the stadiums, wherever. She brings a tremendous professional attitude. She commands respect and deserves respect because she knows the games inside out. She knows sports inside out. She was a former great athlete herself, and she's come back to Windsor after her university days, and she's built up our sports community through her writings at the Windsor Star. The Windsor Star is a very fortunate paper to have this lady as part of their staff. We're very fortunate to have her in our community, and we're certainly honored to have Mary Caton as the recipient of our Female Legacy Award. The other person that we're going to honor this year for the Male Legacy Award, and again, this is tough because we have such a rich history. A lot of people don't realize how many great people are part of our history, and trust me, we've got a list of people that we'd love to make sure they all get a Wespy at some point, but one at a time to keep it kind of special and prestigious. I met this gentleman early in my career when I was working at Trillium Cable at the time, and I was introduced to him through a friend, Richard Solomon, and this guy is the calming influence for any baseball team in our city. He's smiling right now. I don't know if there's never a smile on his face, but I could remember one time I did an interview with Bob, and it was after a baseball game, and there was a play in the game. Bob on the interview said, "Oh, that could have been catastrophic for us," or something to that effect, and I was like, catastrophic baseball? Like, it's a game, but that was Bob in a nutshell. He was probably pulling my leg and kidding around with me and trying to make me laugh a little bit. But he brings great knowledge of sports to our community. He's been an athlete. He's been a coach for many years. I believe he's still coaching now with the Windsor Selects baseball team. And again, we're just honored that you put his name on a Wespy trophy. This year's male recipient for the Legacy Award is Mr. Bob Marchand. He's here with us. So that's all I have to say. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming this morning. Again, sorry I got a little bit emotional, but this is a lot of work that comes to an end when we get this thing rolling. And please join us on April 15th, though. It's going to be a great night. And I'll get over to my right-hand man, Mr. John DiNapoli.
Thanks, Dom. You do a fabulous job here with the Wespys, with WeTV, and everything you've done for Essex County, everything you've done for me over the years. And again, thank you. At event like the Wespy Awards can't take place each year without the support of local businesses and organizations. At this time, I'd like to introduce the presenting sponsor of the Wespy Awards, Mr. Dave Cassidy, and the membership of the Unifor Local 444.
Thanks, DiNaps. Obviously, Mike Leverick, our vice president, is here. Dino couldn't be in attendance, but we have been here for quite a few years. Sorry that we weren't dressed for the occasion, Dom, like you, but we got here a little late. Thanks, buddy. Thanks. For radio, right? So, anyways, we've been part of the Wespys now for quite a few years. I saw when I walked in the door George King, and if anybody was at the Luenza roast, would have saw that George King had a football helmet on, and I thought that you might have been the instead of Joe Theismann I see here. I see that George King could have been the guy, and George, you didn't really look like a football player, but you looked good in that helmet, and I think it was just to protect you from getting kissed by our former president. So, but with all fairness, Dom, on behalf of the local union, the membership, we are very honored to be part of this again. I know there is a lot of work that goes into this, and hopefully we can continue to be part of the Wespy Awards. And hopefully, as you can see in the media, as of late, if Mr. Marchione steps up to the plate, then Local 444 will be part of the Wespys moving forward. So I don't know if you have anything to say, Mike?
No, I just want to say that, because we believe in youth sports, especially. We are involved with the Sports Club 444 that donates money to our community for those kids that can't afford sports. And it's something that we believe in with our youth sports, and we're just happy and privileged to be involved in this Wespy's Award. Thank you. Great. Okay. Great.
Okay. Thanks, Dan.
The great thing about the union, I get to experience both sides of this. I'm on the organizing committee for the Wespys and WeTV, and I work at Chrysler, so I'm a member of the Local 444. My kids play in Sports Club 444 bowling on Saturday mornings, so it's organizations like that it's firsthand. I got firsthand knowledge of what they do for our community day in and day out. So guys, thanks a lot much for me. Moving on, 30 years ago, I went to my dad, who's watching down in Florida. Hi, Dad. Hi, Mom. Dad, I want to play hockey. So it was 1984. I got to meet this fine young gentleman at the time, Dean LaPierre, and he was a convener of my league. My dad said, maybe hockey's not for you. And I ended up playing 20 years for him and going through the system and working for Dean. And Dean's our fast recipient of the Executive of the Year. He's a good friend of mine. He's a good friend of Dom. He's a good supporter of WeTV and the Wespy Awards. Supported me through all those years of hockey, saying, come on, Johnny, every Saturday morning, and arenas are cold. And my dad didn't like the 6 o'clock morning practices that you set us up with back in the day. But, it's guys like Dean that make the Windsor Minor Hockey Association so successful over the years. So at this time, I'd like to introduce a good friend of mine, Dean
getting sick of everybody saying my name and crying, so I don't know what I did. Thank you. As John said, I am president of Windsor Minor Hockey. Dom asked me just to do a quick little thing. And, we've been a sponsor of this event since the first banquet, and we'll be a sponsor along with the Windsor AAA Zone for at least the next 25 years. When it was about 9-10 years ago when Dominic contacted me and told me about his idea, I thought this would be great. And then loving Windsor as much as I have or do, I thought having a platform for our athletes for Windsor and Essex County to be able to share their awards and be recognized would be great. But then when I found out that he wanted to have guest speakers, I thought, wow, this really is going to be big. Like Dominic said, I've known him. I swear I think I'm part Italian because I went to St. Angela, went to Low, grew up on Lillian. So my whole life has been around Italian. So I just thought that, Dom, he's not screwing around with this. He really wants to make it a hit in this city and something that's going to stay around. So when he said his first guest speaker is going to be Pete Rose, I thought, well, it couldn't be another Pete Rose. So then you go through the list, like it's been mentioned before. You got one of the most famous Canadians of all time, Paul Henderson. Yeah, he'll come to the Wespys. Dorothy Hamill, she had a haircut named after her. Yeah, she'll come to the Wespys. Katrina LeMaydon, one of the most decorated athletes in Canadian Olympic history. Yeah, she'll be a speaker. Herman Boone, they made a movie after him. Lloyd Carr, one of the most famous coaches of all time in Division I basketball or football. Christian Leitner, all us Michigan fans, he killed us in the finals, but still, good speaker. Ken Dryden, anybody that can retire at 29 years old and still be one of the best goalies ever. So I think everybody could tell what event this was going to be with Dominic, and then when you throw in the meal and everything else. As everyone knows, I'll do anything to promote Windsor Minor or any of our sponsors, friends, anybody that's involved in Windsor Minor. A perfect example is I see Mr. Wills here from the Express, and to prove I'm not kissing up to him, I had this written before. We've been working together trying to promote his basketball team through our association. We have 1,100 kids. So if we can start getting kids that play hockey to go watch a basketball game, it works hand in hand with anything we can do. We're more than willing to do it. Last year, this event took a whole different meaning for me when I was lucky enough to win the Ken Dryden Executive of the Year. I've been very fortunate to win a lot of awards over my 25 plus years as a member of Windsor Minor Hockey, the last 15 being a president. But winning the Wespy was very special because of the past winners of Wespys. This event has always been done with class. It's not a long night. You get a nice dinner, and the tickets are very reasonable. So I think that's why every year it's been spreading around. Mr. Cassidy and Leverick were here a couple minutes ago, and just to prove, the team they sponsor in Windsor Minor made today champs this Sunday. So if you guys got nothing to do Sunday, come and support your team in the finals. In closing, I want to thank, obviously, the Wespy Committee and Dominic for their hard work every year and want them to show. Also know that the City of Windsor and Essex County need this. I think everybody appreciates what they do, and it don't get much bigger than having one of our own kids from Essex County and Luke Wilson winning the Super Bowl, who also happened to play Windsor Minor Hockey when he was a kid. So, in closing, again, Dominic, staff, thank you, and I hope you guys hear my name down the road, and hopefully it's not for another 40 years when you're really crying when I'm lying there. Other than that, hopefully it's all in good joy. Okay, thanks again, everybody.
Thanks, Deanna. Thanks, buddy. It's a great pleasure to announce this year's keynote speaker, Mr. Joe Theismann. Mr. Theismann, can you hear me?
Well, no, I can't hear anybody, but let me just say this. I hear every other word. I think the pony has gotten tired on the Pony Express between countries on this one. But anyway, I just wanted to, I hope you can hear me clearly enough. I consider it a great honor to be invited to speak at the Wespys. What a terrific way to recognize the sports excellence of a lot of people. The thing that's important, I think, for so many young athletes to understand is that their dreams can come true. And that, I was a skinny little kid out of South River, New Jersey, that nobody really gave much of a chance to be able to do much in my life. And through a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work, I guess you could say it turned out pretty well for me. And, of course, the great experience of going and playing with the Argonauts and getting my first professional opportunity to play in the Canadian Football League and really understand life away from home and the disciplines that are required. What I really like to talk about, not just to the athletes but everybody in the room, is that there's such a great relationship between the world of sports, the world of business, and our own lives. And I think if you look at a lot of these young athletes or a lot of people who have had success in life, you can go back to their foundation in athletics and learn the discipline and the ability to work as a part of a team and the reliance on someone else. All those things are taught at a very, very young age. All those things are taught through the world of sports. And that's one of the things that I want to convey at the Wespys is to, first of all, congratulate those people that have accomplished so much and know that that's just the beginning of the steps that they're going to take forward in their life, and understand the value of the athletic experience for so many.
Next question.
Next question. Mr. Theismann, this is John again, the Media Relations Director here for the Wespys. I have a question for you. Being a longtime supporter of the Michigan Wolverines, your time at Notre Dame, you weren't a heralded recruit coming out of New Jersey, yet you were able to supplant the starter due to injury and then steal his job from him and go from there. The 69 and 70 seasons were your most successful. Can you maybe talk about your time there as starter of one of the biggest programs in all of the NCAA?
Well, I think, having a chance to go to the University of Notre Dame was just a blessing. And it's really ironic. And I don't know if young people look at it the way I did. When I went to the University of Notre Dame, actually it was my second choice. I originally signed at North Carolina State University and then went on to sign at Notre Dame. And never had a chance to play Michigan. Of course, we played Michigan State, and unfortunately, I believe the second game of the season this year between the University of Notre Dame and the University of Michigan will be the last in the rivalry. And it's, I think, because of Notre Dame's movement to a conference, some changes had to be made, and I think the traditions with Michigan State go back, quite a few more years. So that's, I guess, the reason why they kept it. But for me, the opportunity to go to the University of Notre Dame really hit me after I got out of school. And I think for so many people that when you're in school, you're a student and an athlete, and you're enjoying that college experience. All of the things that go into learning how to be a college student and a college athlete, and the relationships that you build. And then all of a sudden, upon graduation, you sort of get a chance to step back and reflect upon what a great experience it was. And again, the relationships that you build. And, I was very fortunate to play for one of the greatest college coaches and one of the finest men that I've ever met, and that's Ara Parsegian. I to this day remain scared to death of him. As a matter of fact, at his 90th birthday party, where so many of us went back to South Bend, I have a picture of him in my photo album on my phone of me kneeling down next to him sitting in a chair. And I laugh every time I see the picture because it's almost like a papal visit for me, because he meant so much to me in my life, and he influenced my life in such a way that, I should be on bended knee begging his forgiveness for all the mistakes I made trying to quarterback his football teams.
John, can you ask him, Mr. Theismann, some of his recollections of playing for Toronto in the CFL?
This is from Peter Langell, AM 800 News here in Windsor. Mr. Langell would like to know, your recollection and what you had when you were playing in Toronto for the Argos those 3 years in the early 70s.
Oh, the three years in Toronto were just a wonderful experience for me, traveling into another country, being able to play the game of football. That's a large reason why I went to Toronto. I ran into some contract issues with the Miami Dolphins. I wound up in Toronto, and you can't say enough for the recruiting job that Leo Cahill did, not only with me, but with Jimmy Stillwagon, Mel Prophet. I mean, I can name more guys from the Argonaut team of the 3 years that I played there than I can from the Super Bowl team in 1982. I mean, I had great relationships and great friendships, but it's that first experience that you have with Mel Prophet, Marv Luster, Dave Ramey, Paul Desjardins, Mike Eben, Tony Morrow. I mean, the list just goes on and on of guys that became friends and still remain friends. And interestingly enough, last year the Grey Cup was held in Toronto, the 100th anniversary of the Grey Cup, of which the Argonauts did win. And on Thursday of that week, they ran a special on the greatest team that never won, and that was the 71 Argonaut football team, which I described as a group of characters with character. With the great leadership of Leo Cahill. And it was, I loved my experience. I did not want to leave Toronto. I didn't want to leave the CFL. But at that time, John Bassett, who owned the team, decided they wanted to go to an economic cutback. And John Barrow, who was a great Hamilton Tiger Cat, became the general manager of the Toronto Argonauts. And I likened that to Bob Lilly of the great Dallas Cowboys becoming the general manager of the Washington Redskins. It was one of those ironies you find in sports so often. But I loved my relationships. I loved living in the country. I loved the people. The city of Toronto was so nice, so wonderful and warm to me. And I think we gave them a lot to cheer about and had a lot of fun.
Mr. Theismann, aside from the money, what's the biggest difference between the NFL when you played and the NFL of today?
Well, it's a great point. I think it's a different kind of an NFL. I think there are too many rules in the NFL, and they're continuing to try and do things. I think it's becoming over-regulated. They're asking officials to try and police verbiage. They're asking to make split-second decisions. I think you're overburdening officials in this game today, to be honest with you. That's one thing. I think the game has become much more wide open. It's always sort of been a quarterback's game, but it really, really is dependent upon how good your quarterback is will depend on how good your football team will be. You can have a lot of other pieces in place, but you're going to be a 9-7, 10-6 football team with no chance to win a championship unless you have a quarterback that can play at a high level. And the game is it's a shotgun game. It's wide open football. I laugh sometimes when I watch these games, and I said, I would have given anything to be able to throw 45, 50 passes in a game. I mean, just to see how well we would have done. But, of course, that wasn't the way we were built. And I find it interesting that the team that threw the ball the second least in the National Football League wound up being the Super Bowl champions, and that's the Seattle Seahawks.
With that said, Mr. Theismann, we'd like to thank you for your time. We look forward to seeing you in Windsor on Tuesday, April the 15th. Any parting words before we let you go?
Yes. First of all, I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine, one of my favorite shows. I had a chance to do it, so that's one little thing. But the other thing is I really want to congratulate and commend everyone involved in the Wespys for honoring the athletes in Essex County and for what they're doing to promote sports, which I think promotes good health as well as building good character. So thanks for the invitation. Looking forward to seeing everybody in April.
Thank you, sir. See you in April.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. At this time, on behalf of the Wespy Organizing Committee, I'd like to thank everybody present. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Unifor 444, Dino Chiodo, the president, Mike Laverick, and Dave Cassidy, Gord Gray, who are here from the 444. Thank all our viewers watching on WeTV.ca. A couple of final reminders. The Wespy Awards are Tuesday, April the 15th at the Giovanni Caboto Club. Early bird tickets are $100, and they're on sale from Friday, February the 28th until Friday, March the 28th. They're available at Bob Riam Sports, Nada's Source for Sports, Miller's Source for Sports in Essex, Bell River Source for Sports, the WE TV studios, and of course online at the Wespy website, www.thewespys.ca. For anything further, media-wise, you can contact myself or call the Wespy hotline at 519-791-8118. Thank you again, and have a great day.